Guys, meteorologist Chris Homer here with this On the Snow Before You Go forecast. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so you get notified when my latest forecasts come out. Let me just set the table here. Here are my bullet points for this update. So the storm track continues to favor the Pacific Northwest, BC, Idaho, Montana through 1223. Then potentially the pattern is going to shift to the south. There's a Christmas Eve, Christmas Day storm system that could bring it to the south and deliver snow to the Sierra, Nevada, Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, and Colorado, Montana. So that's a key storm system for the pattern. Keep an eye on that. In the Northeast, I don't have anything major. Once looked like we might have a major storm on 1220, 1221 is no longer the case. I just don't have anything major at this point. Let me show you what's going on with the pattern here. So here's water vapor satellite imagery across the west. So the oranges and reds, drier air aloft. Your moisture is in the whites and the blues, and there's our storm system right now affecting the Pacific Northwest, BC, and northern tier. Another big storm system behind it. Now eventually, and these two will take a similar track. This one's going to roll up into here. Now eventually the pattern, there's a storm that will come out and go further to the south and will help to buckle the jet. And that's the one that will run through the interior around 1224 and 1225. I'll show you what that looks like coming up in a second. And you can see it. This is integrated vapor transport. This is how we look for the atmospheric river. Things get a whole lot more active for California. This is valid for that San Francisco Bay corridor up to the Sierra. Once we get to 1224, 25, 26, 27, 28, look at the spikes. Weak atmospheric river contribution. So that's just mirroring the fact that we're going to have storm systems moving in during that time frame. Let me bring you up to speed as to where we stand. I just picked a few resorts to show season totals. Revelstoke is doing extremely well. A number of powder days. 178 inches so far. Whistler Blackcomb 142. Jackson Hole 120. And they had an amazing 2 or 3 day stretch recently. Copper Mountain 118, Palisades Tahoe 108, Alta at about 105, and Snowmass at the century mark. So that's where we stand, and we're going to add snow to all these resorts in my extended forecast. Here are my dates, my snow timeline. Best odds of snow for the Wasatch, Tetons, Colorado, Tahoe, interior BC, and the Northeast. I won't go through all these, but just for example, in Colorado, light 1223, moderate to heavy 1225, light 1227. For the Wasatch, light 1223, and heavy 1224 into 1225, moderate 1227. So the bottom line is, once we get that storm for 1224, 25, that's the key storm for a lot of Utah and a lot of Colorado and a lot of the Sierra. Okay, let me show you what the jet stream looks like. So by the time we get to close of business on Thursday, here it is. Storm track with that is still favoring the Pacific Northwest and BC. Some ridging down over the lower 48, high pressure ridging. And look at the dip running across the Great Lakes headed for the Northeast. So some colder air right there. Here's 1220 close of day. Another storm system for the Pacific Northwest, northern tier. Same right here. Now, here comes our storm system. This is 1224. You look at the dip in the jet coming out of California, moving into Utah, Idaho, Nevada, and eventually Wyoming, Colorado. 1224 right there into 1225. The storm system moves through. Potentially another one right there at the very end of that forecast, right there. This is 1227. Look at that, another dip coming in, so potentially another storm system. Okay, let's put some precip on top of all this. So this is by 5 a.m. on Thursday. High and dry lower 48, most of the precip's up in the northern tier and BC, Pacific Northwest, and that's where it stays. 1220. Here's 1221, another storm system. Everything goes up to the northern tier. Here's another storm, 1222, 23. Same thing happens. A little bit of that snow, though, does survive and rolls. It's very light, but it rolls through parts of Utah, Wyoming, Colorado. But here's the bigger storm. Look at the west coast. Here we are in 1224 in the morning. That one has snow all the way from BC down to Tahoe, and then eventually Mammoth. And then it makes its move into the interior. This is 1224 in the afternoon. Snow moving into Utah, into the Tetons, and into Colorado through the morning of 1225. And then it continues to snow on 1225 in Colorado, maybe a little bit of rain, snow for Denver, and then it moves through and then it's gone. But another storm comes in behind it, and here it comes. So this is 1227 in the morning. You've got snow in Idaho, Montana, the Tetons, Utah, Nevada, and then eventually that's going to slide into Colorado. Here are my numbers. Okay, 1219 through 1227. So the numbers you see in California, Utah, and Colorado really don't come until after 1223, 1224 because that's the key storm system that delivers and buckles the jet. So looking for probably 1 to 2 feet across the Sierra if that 24-25 storm system holds. About a foot for the Tetons, about a foot for the Wasatch, 6 to 12 for Colorado because it's been a long time since we've had an organized storm system in Colorado. This is really important that this verifies. About a foot up there into parts of Idaho or more, 6 to 10 through parts of maybe even more across parts of Montana through Big Sky. And look at the Pacific Northwest. This is 2 or 3 storm systems combined, but potentially 2, 3, maybe even 4 feet of accumulation up there through Baker, Whistler, Rainier, Crystal, Stevens. And interior BC, Revelstoke and Red Mountain do extremely well with over a foot of accumulation during this time period. Love seeing that. Now up in the Northeast, nothing major. 2, 3, 4, 5 inches of accumulation, 1219 through 1227. That's probably going to do it. Through parts of New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. Unfortunately, just nothing big. All right, we'll end on the map for the West here that runs us through Christmas. And again, just keep your fingers crossed for this 1224-25 storm system because that is what delivers most of that snow to California, Utah, and Colorado. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in here to this On the Snow Before You Go forecast. Take care and have a great day.